Transforce96 here with a video review. This time I'm going to be reviewing from the Lego Batman movie, the Clayface Splat Attack Lego set. I did very much enjoy the Lego Batman movie. I don't really buy many Lego sets, except when it comes to the actual Lego movies. I enjoy getting those Lego sets because, of course, the figures are essentially action figures from the movie, and they're not just Legoized versions of the characters. So I do kind of like to pick up a few of the sets from the Lego movies. This was a set that I was most excited for, and I definitely wanted to get this one. So let's get into the review, but before we go into the main build here, which is Clayface, let's talk about some of the minifigures that it comes with. So you get two minifigures with this set. You get the Mayor as well as Batman, of course. The Batman one is a really nice figure. However, you get Batman with every single set. So if you are going to be purchasing a few or even just a couple sets from the Lego Batman movie, the Lego Batman mold itself is going to get quite old and, you know, not super special. However, if you're only going to get one set or whatnot, the Batman figure itself is very nice. It comes with an actual separate belt piece, which is completely different from the Lego movie Batman. If we compare them, the one on the right there is from the Lego movie, the one on the left is from the Lego Batman movie. So the difference being, obviously the print itself is a bit different, just his muscle structure. The abs are of course much more noticeable for the Lego Batman movie, for jokes basically. And then the belt was just printed on the Lego movie Batman, and the belt for the Lego Batman movie is actually sculpted on. It's a separate piece that you're going to have to put on. I am just noticing that I have the belt on backwards there though, but yeah, so that is a separate piece which is unique. Also, what's different is the mold itself is just bigger, and his helmet or his cowl is a bit bigger. Also, the cape is completely different. The cape on the new one is more of a cloth, while the old one is more of a paperish material, which Lego uses most often. However, I'm very much liking the cloth that they're going with now. I think that is quite nice. And then the Mayor looks quite nice. I do like her hair piece. It's a rather large piece, and it does look good. And the print on her costume looks nice as well. These both have separate. They have spinning heads that have different expressions, which I like. So let's show that. And when you switch the expressions for Batman, he has one just kind of smirking face, and then one face where he's a bit worried, or it could work as just like being an angry face. It kind of works for both of those. And then for the Mayor, her other face print is more of just complete scared, which works because she's supposed to be like caught in the clay from Clayface. A very small build, which is more of an accessory piece, is this little like piece of clay. I think it's quite nice. I mean, the way that it's put together, it does look, you know, like it's supposed to. It looks like it's kind of like a clay piece. And then you can put the Mayor in there like she's just been trapped in the clay, which I do like. And this did actually happen in the movie, so I am glad that they've included this. It's a small little piece, but it works nicely. So now to go over the main build, we have Clayface. These are the types of sets that I like a lot. I much prefer to have the actual build be a character rather than like an object or a setting. You know, vehicles and settings are cool, but for me personally, I like figures, so I do really enjoy the ones that have you build an actual figure. That's why I like the metal beard so much from the Lego Batman, or the Lego movie. So this is basically the Lego Batman's version of that. So as you can see, we have Clayface here. First of all, just Clayface's design I like a lot. I love the big like mouth with the teeth that are in you know, not aligned and not symmetrical places. I think the eyes are very cool and fierce, and I like just how big the face is too. It's like a massive circular piece like just on top of the body that's just as wide as the body, and I enjoy the overall design for Clayface in general. And you know, it's done very nicely because it's supposed to look like a fluid type character, and to put these little circular 4-peg pieces on him just everywhere is very nice. And what's also surprising is he's quite symmetrical. I expected this guy to really not be symmetrical, to have a lot of you know, pieces that weren't the same, because to make it look more natural. And for the most part, he's completely symmetrical. You have like a couple like one stud pieces that are put on, you know, just in slightly random places, but for the most part, for every other piece, it's all symmetrical, which is very strange. However, it does actually look quite nice, and I do like it quite a bit. I love his little feet there, though. I think that's an excellent thing to have, just a little feet. The one thing I don't like is like on the back of his arms or on the side, depending on where you have them positioned. You can totally see the gray. Like I'm almost 100% sure that is not the case in the movie. I feel like they just didn't want to give you the pieces to sculpt the entirety of the arms, because it looks very strange like that. I definitely don't like it. You're definitely just taken away from his the clay material that's supposed to make up Clayface. So overall, his look is quite nice. I like the build itself, and it is pretty nice, with some minor flaws being that you can see some of the inner mechanics of him, rather than just having complete all different shades of brown and things like that would work for his clay-like skin. Alright, so Clayface's gimmick here is that he can actually shoot these little pieces of clay. They're just in there, the little one stud pieces, and this thing can rotate. It gets a little stopped here though, but if you do it with enough force to get it to actually move, it will shoot. So let's see if we can do that. And it shoots them quite nicely, and also what's nice for kids is that you've got 6 of them, so it's not just like a one-shot thing and then you have to reload it to shoot it again. You can shoot 6 just on one hand, which I think is very cool. So I do like the gimmick. I think it works well, and we do see him actually do that in the movie. My only issue with it is it makes him so that his arms are only the guns, which, I mean, if he's just standing here and you have his arms on the floor, it looks pretty nice, but I would much rather actually have physical hands for him, or at least have one hand and then like the interchangeable hammer hand. That would be very nice, and I would have definitely preferred that, because he does have physical hands in the movie as well. They do morph into this gun section, as well as the hammer and things, but in the movie he does also have regular hands. And speaking of the morphing and stuff, he does come with an interchangeable arm that you can build, or arm from the elbow down, and that's this little end piece, and then the hammer, which I think is quite nice. I think this is a good interchangeable piece that can work very nicely. As you can see, it looks cool. I definitely like it, and it does get in that feature of Clayface that he can morph his hands. So I think that is nice that they did include that. But again, I would have definitely wanted and really would have loved some interchangeable actual finger hands. As far as his articulation, it's quite good. He has a ball jointed head, which can go he can look up quite a bit and go down side to side basically, and when he has his head up, you can like tilt his head a bit if you'd like. Also with his expression, he's got a very angry expression, but by switching the eyes, you can give him a very sad expression, which I think is very clever. I definitely like that quite a bit, and it works very nicely with poses. Especially since most minifigures can change their expression, so that was a great, easy way to get like this massive one to be able to change his. His shoulders are ratcheted. They can go up full 90 degrees, and then they can swivel 360. He's got ball-jointed elbows, which are pretty tight. Sometimes they do fall a bit, but for the most part they are tight. But that is a nice ball-jointed area. For the hammer does swivel. No torso articulation at all. Then he has ball-jointed legs, nothing at the knee, because obviously his legs are just so small and stumpy. So his articulation is very nice. It's basically what you'd expect from Lego for a character with this type of design. To give you a feel of Clayface's size, here he is compared with some other similar Lego figures. First of all, you just have 2 regular minifigures, so you can kind of see how big he is compared to a regular figure. And then you have the Hulkbuster Lego figure. I did alter the legs on that one though, so you can't take that 100%. Like, that's how I bought it, because it's slightly altered. And then you have Metal Beard. So as you can see, he is, he's just slightly the shortest out of all of them. He might be just a smidge taller than Hulkbuster. It's hard to tell. He was smaller than I was expecting when I built him, I will admit that. However, it's not something that disappoints me, and I actually think that him being slightly smaller than I was expecting fits in nicer with the minifigures themselves, so which is nice. And here he is with some other Clayface figures. You have the Batman Animated Series 1 on the left, and on the right we have the Mattel Arkham City Clayface. So as you can see, he is the smallest out of the bunch there, but they're all in a very similar scale, so they just look really cool together, because they're the same character, but in completely different directions and completely different designs for the same character, which is cool. So as a whole, I do very much enjoy this LEGO set. I think it's quite nice and it fits what I like most about LEGO, which is the figures themselves. So I would definitely recommend this if you are a big fan of the characters. However, if you're more into the settings and the vehicles and things like that, this is definitely not going to be a set for you, considering the build is a character himself. And also, if you're just not a fan of the side villains like Clayface, because there's just such a slew of them in this movie. They really do all of the Batman villains. So if you're not too into Clayface, this is obviously another set that's not going to be for you. However, if you do like Clayface, if you like Lego builds of actual characters, then this is definitely going to be one for you. And I would say it's definitely worth a pickup. And it's also not one of the most expensive sets. This is a $35 set, which is an okay price. You know, I don't have a ton of experience with Lego, so it's a little hard for me to judge their price. However, for me personally, 35 was a nice price range. It wasn't too bad, so I do like it. One quick thing I will add at the end of there is that if any of you have information, if there's like a blog or just any sort of website that shows you how you can kind of like custom make Clayface's like fingers, something that's like that, with the pieces that you get from the set, I would love to know that, because I would totally actually rebuild his forearms there to give him actual hands, if there is like a solid way to do that with it looking decent, you know. So let me know if you guys actually have any information on that, and let me know what you guys think of this set in general, and thanks so much for watching.